According to Wikipedia, Hayley Mills said that Summer Magic was the worst of her Disney films. Now, I have to say, I actually found the film to be rather charming. Is it the worst of her films for Disney? Well, I don't know, but certainly either way, even though there does have to be a worst, I never would have considered this to be a bad film. I thought it was actually pretty good. This was released in 1963, directed by James Neilson, and Hayley Mills plays Nancy. And we also have Dorothy McGuire as Margaret Carey and Deborah Walley as Julia Carey. And James Mathers and Eddie Hodges as her brothers. And this family fall on hard times. They have to move out of their home. They live quite a wealthy life, but they end up moving to the country into this so-called yellow house. Now, when we first see the house, it didn't look as yellow as I was expecting. I think it could have been a little bit more vibrant and a little bit more vivid. It was more beige with a hint of custard than anything else, but nevertheless, that aside, they move to this house in the country and they adapt to their new life as country folk. And Nancy in particular is really enthusiastic about this, and it's actually something she really wanted, and they all kind of take on new roles and responsibilities. They start fixing the house up, getting used to their new responsibilities, and then their cousin Julia comes to stay with them, and Julia lived even more of a rich life than they did previously, and she provides such a stark contrast between life in the country and a wealthy life in the city. And they don't necessarily love her as a character, and it sparks a song, or as a family member rather, and it sparks a song that I love. But I'll talk about the music in a moment, because it is a musical, and it's all about, first of all, them accepting their cousin into their home, the differences, everybody adapting to these changes in their life. There is a romantic aspect to this, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought the narrative progressed really well, to the point where the point of the narrative kicked in the very first scene. It didn't spend much time setting things up at all, but that was absolutely fine. It worked really well. The scenes are really well shot. The pacing of the narrative is great. The costumes are fabulous. I really rather enjoyed them. And the acting is brilliant, particularly Hayley Mills. And as I said, while I don't know if this is technically my least favourite of Hayley Mills' Disney films, but I would never put the word worst next to this film. The music, however, I'm a big fan of musicals. And when it comes to musical numbers, I know what I like and I know what I don't like. I didn't dislike any of the songs in this, but there were only two out of a pretty good handful of songs that really stood out to me. One of which I already knew. I learned that the Ugly Bug Ball actually comes from Summer Magic, which I had no idea about, so I was delighted to actually hear that song and enjoy that. It's not the scene I would have imagined with the song, but I did obviously really thoroughly enjoy listening to that. The other one I really loved is Pink of Perfection, which is a song they sing when they realise their snobbish cousin is coming to visit or coming to stay with them. And the song is great, really thoroughly enjoyed it, would happily listen to it in isolation outside of the film. But what I also loved about this is that it felt like they were making up this song on the spot. Because one of Nancy's brothers goes to the piano, he starts playing, and then Nancy goes over to him, and you can kind of see her thinking about the lyrics, thinking about what she's going to sing and what could fit well with the song. And I'm never one of those people who has a problem with people randomly bursting into fantastically synchronized choreography and knowing all of the words to all of the songs, even though it's meant to be spontaneous. I know a lot of people don't like musicals because it's so unrealistic. But actually with this one, it felt realistic. It felt like they were making it up on the spot, and I thought that was really great. So that's something that I thought was very well done. I really enjoyed Summer Magic. It's definitely a film that's worth watching if you're a fan of musicals, if you like Disney in the 60s. It's easy to watch, it's comforting, it's fun, the pacing is great, I love the costumes. Needless to say, I was very happy with Summer Magic and absolutely recommend it.